people being able to walk to get something to eat or walk to the beach. Those are all things that will improve everybody's quality of life.
Because I think at our stage of life we need that. We need to feel that we can have some fun and not feel guilty.
We look for people who care about our seniors and who want to work at Wesley Palms.
Because everybody's idea of what's best is very different.
I'm looking forward to signing up.
Yeah, we'll have a place for you.
Our next two guests are absolutely awesome. I'd like to introduce you to Justin Bogart and his grandma, Betty Lou. Justin is the co-creator of GoGo Grandparent, which is a phenomenal app, kind of, but it's not on a smartphone. It's actually on a flip phone that allows seniors who can no longer drive to have easy access to transportation.
And other services.
And other services as well. So welcome to both of you.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here. We are both, Patty and I are very excited. I forgot your name, Patty. But Patty and I are just so excited because we saw the article in the San Diego Union Tribune a while back, and we reached out to you, and you're both gracious enough to come down here. So Justin, let's get right into it. How did this come about?
Sure. I was working on, well, first off, I have a very close relationship with my grandma. And so when she told me that, I mean, she really told me to build the thing. She said, I'm feeling uncomfortable driving at night and my license is expiring soon. Can I call Uber? And I said, oh, they don't have they don't have a phone number that you can call. And then she just kind of admonished, well, you should build that. And she had every right to be a little admonishing because I'd been living with her for a couple of years at that point, going from startup idea to startup idea, trying to make something work and kind of building skills at the same time. And so over Christmas, we put together the first initial version of the service, and then I had her use it, and we went to Coco's Diner.
So tell us what the service is. Tell
Sure.
us what GoGo Grandparent is all about.
Yeah. Well, you mean like how to use it?
How to use it.
Okay, yeah. So you can call, if you can call a phone number, so then you can use the service, and that means that people with landlines or flip phones or brick phones or anything, you don't have to have a smartphone to use it. But you call a number, and then if you've been registered, the first time you would get registered with an operator, and then every subsequent time you'd be able to just use the dial tone to order personal services. So press 1 for a car to be sent to your home, press 2 for a car to be sent to wherever we dropped you off last. Then we also do meals and groceries and soon medication delivery, all from a dial tone without having to speak to an operator.
So again, this is to make sure this is a worldwide application. So where does someone go who's living in San Francisco or San Diego go to find the phone number?
Yeah, we just got a toll-free number, 1-855-GO-GO-USA, but for more information they can go to gogograndparent.com, and then that's where they could get registered, or they can call, and then an operator will register them the first time, and we just have to get their billing and home address information so that every time that they use the service, we'll recognize their phone number and then be able to present them the host of options that are available in their area.
Okay, so the most popular one is probably
Transportation. For
Transportation.
sure. But once people get started with transportation, we find that they start using the meal and grocery services eventually. So,
okay.
Yeah.
And how are you enjoying it? I mean, is it really taking your quality of life to a higher level by having this ability to get around?
Yes, it has. And of course, since I recently had a fall, I've been even more grateful that I had that option to use another service other than just relying on friends and family members to get me from here to there. And it's worked out very well.
And you're using it for other reasons other than just transportation?
So far, I've only used it for the transportation. And also, I used to pick up my housekeeper and take her home, and then I told her I'm not going to be able to do that. So I send her home by Uber, and she's been delighted.
So you dial the 185...
No, I dialed the 400 number.
Oh, the local number.
We had a
LA number, and then you go dial, press 1,
and I tell them, they tell you, they'll be there in 5 minutes or 6 minutes, and there they are, and they call you as soon as they're approaching your home, that they're there.
Yeah.
that's really cool too. So when someone presses 1, we will, we go find their driver. We say, please hold, we're finding your driver.
So they're talking to you, or
No.
they're talking to your organization?
Self-serve concierge. And so every subsequent time they call, press 1, and a voice comes on and says, hold on, we're finding your driver. And then when we find the driver, we give them the name of the driver, the phone number of the driver, what type of car they're driving. They can press 1 to call the driver, or 9 to cancel. And then everything just sort of happens automatically. And because of that, we're able to offer it anywhere and everywhere. We also are just now rolling out a feature where if a family member signs up a loved one, then they'll get a text message with all that information as well. And
That's
so,
awesome.
it's like super cool. And so now, because we have like a control panel, so that every time I see grandma zipping around, it's like, oh, keeping my eyes on her, right? But
I can't pull any shenanigans.
Yeah, really? Granny, we're watching.
but people were calling and they had access. They have access now to that information too, if they want it, just so that they can have like that peace of mind, knowing
Yep.
that grandma got to the market or the gym safely or whatever it might be. So,
That is awesome. That is just awesome.
thank you. Yeah, it's cool.
It's amazing.
Thanks.
And it obviously makes you feel so much more independent.
It does give me a sense of independence, yes it does. And, he just has your credit card number and then, you can see the bill. I mean, and you don't have to tip Uber drivers, as you probably know.
Right.
It's not necessary and it's not encouraged or required. And so far, all of the drivers have been absolutely wonderful and have been very helpful to this older woman.
And that's really cool too. So we our hope is to expand beyond this first vendor of Uber into more like specialized transport for wheelchair accessible vehicles or what have you. But while we are using the ride sharing services, I've been delighted to find that the drivers are just really great people, and so we text everyone. So what grandma doesn't see is that when she presses 1 and gets assigned a driver, we'll text that driver automatically and let them know that the next person they're picking up might need some assistance getting to the car, and we ask them, could you please pull up into the driveway? We'll rate you 5 stars, which is really important for Uber drivers. And so everyone's been doing it. It's been really cool. And the first time she used the service, the guy got out of the car, escorted her to the car, and then sent her on. And then took her where she needed to go. Luther, right? His name was Luther.
No, Luther was the one that brought us home.
Oh, okay.
I had a friend with me, and he helped us both into the car and out of the car. And they're just wonderful people, and they will have a conversation with you, where any cab that I've ever taken home from the airport, they never say a word to you,
Yeah.
And so it's kind of nice to find out, especially so many of them are from other countries and things, although Luther was a very nice gentleman who was retired and used to coach, and now coaches football and basketball on his time off. And he was so delighted. We were talking about Christmas. This was before Christmas, and some of the gifts we were giving to our kids. And he said, "You girls solved my Christmas problem for my grandkids. They're each getting $100."
So it's pretty cool. Everyone kind of comes together to help the seniors out.
That is so awesome. That is so awesome. Other than the demo, if I wasn't going to demo necessarily, but I wanted to sign up, what do I do to sign up?
There's 2 ways. So if you're signing up your, older loved one who might not be super comfortable using a computer, then you would go to gogograndparent.com, and then you could get the information there, or just hit register, and then you would fill out their information. You could put in your phone to receive the text messages. But the primary way that people have been signing up is calling in and speaking with an operator. And I think they do that just because we can answer any of their questions or whatever it might be. And then we'll sign them up. It usually takes a minute. And then every subsequent time that they call, they're presented with the self-serve concierge. And then that kind of just takes care of all the rest. Though, of course, if they need to, they can press 0 to speak with an operator. And then after they use any of our services, we'll send an email with the bill of what it costs from being, and we don't charge for our services, so there's no Go Grandparent premium or anything. It's the exact same price that they would pay if they were doing it some other way, and so they get that bill either via email or the loved one gets it in the text message, grandma just got dropped off, she made it to blah blah blah, and the bill came out to be X amount. So
Justin, obviously you're an entrepreneur, you're a visionary, which is
sure.
I love the visionary, I love the entrepreneurship. Just real quick, where do you see this exploding to over the next, what is your grand vision?
Yeah, excellent question. So kind of the mission here is to make it so that someone can stay in their home for as long as possible. And whatever kind of services that might be, it's both way more affordable than using other services, using in-home care or or sending someone to a senior service home. And it's also just more comfortable for everybody. You don't want to relocate or anything. So everything that we can do to make that possible would be great. We're really excited about involving now family members into the service because it lets us do a lot more cool and creative things. So like they can, navigating menus for like food can be tough, right? But if a loved one is like assisting their parent in that process, and then the parent just calls. The best way to say it is that we're trying to involve everyone into like this care team. And so you have the parents like that are helping customize options for the loved one, but then the loved one is the one that gets to choose when she wants to go play bridge or whatever. Bridge.
Are you a bridge player?
She is.
I'm sorry.
Are you a bridge player?
Yes, I am. Yes,
She's really good too.
Well, I don't know about that.
Well, Patty and I are so excited that you took the time to come down to San Diego. I understand, obviously, this is a worldwide venture,
Yeah.
and I'm so proud of you. You're not my son, but
Thank you.
if I could adopt you, I might. And thank you for making the trip down here, and I encourage everybody, because again, it really is, what this show is all about, Senior Stay to Go, is really about improving quality of life for aging as we age. And you have taken it on. You are the grandson of grandsons.
Yes, he is.
Not besides professional grandson, he is right up to the halo. I think I saw the halo.
Oh, I'm not too sure about that.
Okay. Well, you can tell me later off camera about the other things. But thank you so much for being here, and
Well, thank you for having
we just
us.
encourage your success and your continued growth, and we look forward to following your growth and your good health and your recovery from your leg.
Oh, I'm recovering nicely.
And keep your
thank you.
services going, because in short order, I'll be using them. So
My mom uses it because it's easier than the app sometimes.
Yeah.
So
Anyway, thank you both.
Yeah, thank you.
We'll be right back with more Senior Stay or Go TV.
Are you modern or classic?
Flip-flops or hiking boots?
Binoculars or reading glasses? Surf or turf?
we have three great guests with us today. We have Roberta Jacobson, who's the president of the Front Porch Communities and Services. We have Sunny Cooper, who is a resident of Frederica Manor and a very accomplished artist. And our third guest is Julie Weaverling, who's the assistant director at the Front Porch Gallery in Carlsbad. Welcome, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here today. This is an amazing panel we've assembled here today. Thank you. Sunny, let's start with you. What made you choose Frederica Manor in Chula Vista, and tell us what you really love about it.
The cottage. It was, I had been looking for months for a place large enough so that I could have a studio. And I found a place that wasn't quite the same, and it didn't work out, which is very good, because then I went looking again, and I found Frederica, and I called, and they said they had cottages, and they had a 3-bedroom, 2-bath with a garage and a covered patio, and the room was 19 feet long, which is a perfect studio. So I said, how much does it cost to keep it? And they said, they gave me the price, and I said, good, the check is in the mail, we'll be there next week.
I know you have a husband, so was he involved with this, or is...
Yeah, he felt strongly too. I have a relatively large service dog, a Labrador Retriever, and we need room for her too. And so we saw the place. We could choose everything we wanted for it. They redid it. It was beautiful, and we really love it.
And where did you move from?
We moved from Santa Fe,
New Mexico.
New Mexico, which is, of course, very beautiful. And I didn't want to move, but my doctor said warmer climate. And we had lived in San Diego before, in Scripps Ranch. And so we knew the area, we loved it, and we're very happy here.
And that process took about how long before you just...
Not very long. I mean, we were all ready to go. And we had a big house to sell, but we had sold it before and moved into a rental, so we were free to move.
So you had prepared, you had
Yeah,
planned.
we knew what we were doing, yeah.
Well, that's fantastic.
It's a wonderful, wonderful cottage. and community.
And you've been there how long now?
About a year and 2 months.
A year and 2 months. So you just had your anniversary.
Yeah.
And the dog loves it?
The dog thinks it's wonderful. Everyone loves her. She goes into the dining room, which of course a service dog can, and everyone pets her. She thinks it's grand.
What's her name?
Chamisa.
Chamisa. Well, that leads us on to the next part of our discussion.
So, Sunny, what gives you your inspiration for the beautiful pieces of art that you create?
I'm very visual, so when I see something, I head there. And of course, I know New Mexico inside and out after 40 years of living there, 20 years, and then 20 years here, and then 20 years again in New Mexico. Here, I'm starting to do seascapes. The gallery has a couple of those, as a matter of fact, and they're going to get bigger. The little people paint big paintings.
There's a tagline for you, the little people that paint big paintings. And how long have you been doing art?
I don't remember when I didn't. When I was in school, I came into school reading and writing 3 languages. And they handed me Dick and Jane, and I decided that they were all idiots. And I told them so. I was very verbal about that. And so they had me painting murals on the walls of the school because I drove them crazy. And I filled up all the walls, and then what do you do with me?
Your teacher's still talking about that.
I was 9 years old, and they didn't know what to do with me. So they gave me a radio station on a radio program on WNYC in New York City. And I did a news program every Friday, wrote the scripts, did all the interviews.
At 9?
At 9.
Wow.
Gosh, that is just fabulous.
Amazing.
We could go on for a long time.
Oh, yeah, we can.
A long time in your story.
That's another story.
That's another story. Well, we're going to move on a little bit to Front Porch has an amazing gallery in Carlsbad called the Front Porch Gallery, and I've been there many times, and Sunny has shown her work there. Roberta, take us into the history of the Front Porch Gallery and why was it formed, and then how it's evolved throughout the years.
Well, there's an interesting backstory to the development of the Front Porch Gallery, and that started in the 1990s. In the late 1990s, we were in the process of developing Carlsbad by the Sea, and the city of Carlsbad actually mandated and required that we have commercial storefront retail shops facing Carlsbad Boulevard. So one day when our former co-CEOs were having coffee across the street, they said, wouldn't it be wonderful if we commandeered one of those storefronts and created an art gallery where all of the Front Porch residents and potentially staff and the broader community could share their art. And at that time, several of our communities did already have art areas where residents could display their art. Maybe it would be a little public space or a corridor, but this vision of really bringing together the art of all of our residents from our 10 communities was sparked at that time. Then we received grants from our foundations in California, Lutheran Homes at the time, and actually opened the gallery then in around 2002. Since that time, it's grown from a shop where we initially primarily showed resident art from all our communities, and then expanded it to include staff, and now, as Julie will explain, it's gone much broader where we include a lot of local artists.
If you haven't been there, it's open to the public.
Absolutely. There are regular hours. We hold events there, special events, and it's right on Carlsbad Boulevard and quite a local community attraction.
It really is. It's an amazing spot, and Carlsbad by the Sea is right on the water as well.
Julie, since you are the assistant director, can you tell us a little bit about what your job is there and what the gallery's done for the community and as well?
Sure. So as Roberta was saying, really the idea of the gallery is that art creates community. And we have a strong belief in moving that forward. And what we try to do is, through art, create meaning. We do that in a few different ways. One is working with artists who live at Front Porch Communities, such as Sunny, and many others. So we do exhibits that feature all residents' artwork. We also feature artists in our retail side of the gallery who are residents. And as well, we showcase art from Front Porch staff. One of our current top-selling artists is an executive director at one of the communities, and she creates jewelry that's been very successful. And,
Wow.
and I know it's something that she wants to go into more fully after she retires.
So you're creating some entrepreneurs within your own.
Why not?
That's,
Why not?
That's fabulous.
Right. We
Really,
have
you know.
ceramics artists and jewelry and many different things. Additionally, we do a lot of work with outside nonprofit artist organizations, artist groups. Currently, we're showcasing the Art Association of Glass Artists of Southern California. It's some amazing artwork, very professional artists that are from all over Southern California. We partner with nonprofits such as working with people who are showing art that cancer survivors and cancer patients have created. Things that really create a lot of meaning for the viewers as well as the people doing it. And one thing that we're really proud of is that everyone who shows in our gallery doesn't have to be a professional artist. We believe that everyone can be creative, and we like that we are a community resource in that way, that it allows a lot of people to have programs in the gallery that wouldn't normally find their way into another commercial type of gallery space. We also do intergenerational kinds of programming. We've done things where we've partnered both family members that are intergenerational and showcase their art as well. We've had programs where it has been, residents of communities partnered with very young people, and they tell their stories to the young people, and then the young people have created art that speaks to that. So quite a wide variety.
And given all the success, I assume people are now reaching out to you as opposed to you having to reach out into the community.
Yes, definitely. I would say we have a really good reputation, and people are definitely interested in being in the gallery and participating in a lot of different ways.
So Julie, tell me the story, the backstory. Who met who? Did Sunny meet Julie, or did Julie meet Sunny?
Well, Sunny, when she visited Frederica Manor, found out about Front Porch Gallery, so she actually reached out to us, and initially she came up and met Steve Nelson, who's the gallery director, and then he told me that he had met them, and Sunny and her husband, Ralph, who's her agent, and very good at it, started sending emails to me, and we started looking at some work, and we knew immediately that we had a really special artist, and that we, of course, wanted to really be able to showcase her. So since that time, Sunny is currently the featured artist at the Front Porch headquarters in Glendale. And there's a whole gallery section there where we showcase particularly senior artists, and we're really thrilled that Sunny is there. And I get to announce that we just sold one of your paintings up there, Flood Time, just sold to one of the Front Porch employees.
Wow.
Yeah. So just
surprise.
Saturday, and so I thought, we're going to wait and tell you here. So yeah.
Oh.
Wow.
So congratulations.
Well, that's fantastic.
It is really, thank you.
Yes, and then we will be also having a couple of Sunny's smaller paintings in the gallery, and then of course we'll have much more to come, I'm sure, with Sunny.
Now, is the Glendale Gallery open to people? Anybody? The public?
Yeah, not really. It's mostly for the staff and for visitors to Front Porch.
Okay.
It's not an open in the same. It's not a public gallery.
Not a public gallery like Carlsbad by the Sea.
But there will be a reception for
Yes.
me, and I will invite people. So you're invited.
Well, I love going up there. No problem. The train is right there, and hop off, and we can have a good old time on the train. And,
Absolutely.
and with sell some art on the bring some on the train.
Why not?
Well, we usually bring it in the van, and I'm not quite sure what to do with the dog.
Well, thank you for that insight. As I say, it really is a treasure in Carlsbad that really does bring a lot of value to the whole North County coastal has really benefited from that gallery. So thank you. Thank you. Roberta, Patty and I have had the honor and the privilege of touring all the communities and the campuses here in San Diego County, and we certainly hope to visit them all in California, and they are just outstanding. And because Patty and I work very exclusively with people looking to move to senior communities, and we're always trying to get them to visit your community. So tell us, what is the secret sauce and what is the magic that makes Front Porch so outstanding?
Well, thank you for that nice compliment and the question. And I think just listening to Julie, you can see how even the gallery really exemplifies our mission of exciting and engaging the spirit of the individual. As you've seen, each of our communities is very unique, and all of the residents who live in them are very unique. And so one of our goals as a part of our mission is to acknowledge that individual spirit and encourage it in many ways, and certainly art is an example. We have many wonderful art programs throughout our communities, including music, ukulele lessons, piano lessons, clavanovas. We have wonderful programs in terms of sculpting and ceramics and quilting, even drama classes and a jazz band. So I think what we strive to do is focus on the individual residents, their needs, and their creative spirit, and how we can enhance and support that.
And it's always top-down driven, so you must be doing something from the top that filters down to the employees, that just, because we always go there and it's really awe-inspiring. So thank you for whatever you're doing.
Well, everybody's always friendly and welcoming. And
well, as a not-for-profit, of course, we are grounded in our core values, and you hear about core values from lots of companies, but I think we really walk the walk and talk the talk, and we listen to our residents. It's very important that we connect with them in every way we possibly can to understand their individual needs and then respond to those.
That's great. That's awesome. So if someone like Sunny came to San Diego and she said, okay, I need a 3-bedroom, 2-bath casita or cottage, does she have other options other than Frederica Manor?
Currently, the other option would be at Wesley Palms. We are in the process of completely redeveloping our 35-acre community in overlooking Pacific Beach and Mission Bay. And so we will have 3-bedroom accommodations available there as well, and some beautiful cottages.
That's fantastic. We've been able to tour that, and it really, I'm moving in.
It's amazing.
Is there expansion plans, any that you want to share?
Well, I think Front Porch is blessed with some incredible real estate, and so as we're doing at Wesley Palms, taking advantage of the wonderful properties that we do have, we are always looking for opportunities to improve and upgrade those. For example, at Frederica, we're in the process of creating a brand new memory care area, memory care development there, and those will be cottages that we are converting to secured memory care. Casa de Mañana is oceanfront La Jolla, an incredible location as well, and over the years we have done some major improvements there. So I think really upgrading and enhancing our existing communities is where we're focused at this time.
For Summer House, will it have the same name in
Yes.
Frederica as it does at Wesley?
Yes, we will have a summer house, memory care community at Frederica, very similar to that as which we have at Wesley Palms.
So Sunny, I'm going to finish. Tell us a little bit more about Sunny and how she's engaging at Frederica Manor and quality of life.
The quality of life, it's a real true community. People what attracted us when we got there, then they gave us a complimentary 4 days so that we could really get into the community and understand it and meet the people. The people were wonderful. I mean, they're friendly, and when you sit in the dining room and you move around so you meet all the people, it's just wonderful. They're interesting, they're lively. You can't have any better people than you have there.
So when Patty and I talk to people that say, no, it's not for me, I'm going to have them call you. Will you be our...
you know, they have preconceptions.
Right.
You know, old people, home, this and that, but it's not that. There are a lot of people living independently. There are a lot of people who aren't living independently who are active. And people with memories that are like elephants. There's one gentleman that I dearly love. He's 98.
That's all.
He's 98, plays golf. And he remembers he was at Pearl Harbor when it was hit. And he was a medic. He wrote a book that's fabulous to read about his experiences in the Navy. And he is not alone. He is just amazing.
No lack of conversation.
No lack of conversation there, no.
Well, I want to thank Roberta. Thank you so much for coming on show today. And Sunny, you're a gem, and I hope maybe we'll have you back when we have we'll have it filled with art that we can display. And Julie, thank you so much for the work that you're doing up in Carlsbad and the Front Porch Gallery. It really is awe-inspiring to have you all here today, and I thank you so much. So stay tuned. We'll be right back with more Senior Stay or Go.
With the help of Comfort Keepers, I'm keeping my mom healthy.
I'm keeping Dad on schedule.
I'm keeping my mom happy.
Comfort Keepers in-home professional caregivers can provide meal planning and preparation, health and wellness services, and personal care services through custom care plans that can change as needs change, so your aging loved ones can stay happy and healthy in their own home.
Comfort Keepers, keeping the comfort of home.
Our next guest today is Tricia Reardon. She is the Director of Community Relations for Comfort Keepers. Welcome, Tricia. We're glad to have you.
Thank you, Patty.
Thank you for being here, and congratulations on a 12-year run with Comfort Keepers San Diego. That's very admirable in the home care industry, and you really must have seen and heard a lot. So given your background, we want to know, tell us about what is Comfort Keepers and what is home care all about today.
So home care is providing caregivers to stay in the home with our seniors or those people who are over 18 and unable to care for themselves. Our caregivers are able to do a variety of things for our seniors. They're doing anything from shower, dressing and grooming to preparing meals, medication reminders, light housekeeping, doing laundry and changing linens. Transportation for doctor's appointments or running errands. Sometimes our clients are calling us kind of at the beginning stages where maybe they've just lost their driver's license and they may just need incidental transportation to grocery shop or a doctor's appointment. And sometimes it's somebody who maybe is rehabilitating. So sometimes we have, in home care, we have people that are just with us during that transition. So from hospital to rehabilitating to getting back on their own. So we may only have them for a brief period of time where we're able to do their PT exercises with them at home and get them back to their baseline. And then that's kind of their stay with us. And then some people we have long term.
Tricia, obviously the success of Comfort Keepers is well known, and you've had lots of success stories over the years. Tell us one of your recent success stories.
That's a good question. Okay, so one of our most recent success stories actually was with a couple of clients that we had here in San Diego that were caught in a fire. The house went on fire sometime that morning, and both of them were unaware that the house was on fire. And our caregiver just happened to get there 15 minutes early on this particular day. And she actually ran into the home, and one of our clients that had dementia was just in a complete daze and wasn't moving and was almost just right in front of the fire. So our caregiver grabbed her and got her out of the house, and then she went to the other client's room, and he was still sleeping. So she was able to get him out of the house. She was basically carrying them out of the house.
Dead weight, that's hard to do.
Yeah. And so I mean safely, because we do train our caregivers on how to do things safely, but you know, it was an emergency, and it was about making sure our client is safe. And it was another incident, I think, in our office of thinking about, you know, somebody, what would that family have done if they didn't have Comfort Keepers, or if there wasn't a caregiver? The pictures after were horrifying to see how much of the house was burnt, and clearly they wouldn't have been okay had our caregiver have not been there to save them. So it was a great feeling. We all were very proud of our caregiver and the fact that we were able to save 2 of our clients' lives.
It's an amazing story.
It really is.
Amazing story.
We're very proud of that.
So how did Comfort Keepers become the premier home care agency here in San Diego?
Well, basically, I think for us, we live up to a higher standard than other home care agencies. I mean, not to say anything bad about anybody else, but you know, our whole model, I think, is just different, Patty, than everybody else's. You know, typically when you look at home care, you're looking at a scheduling team and, you know, a kind of a pack of caregivers, and that scheduling team is then sending out caregivers to the home. But what happens if the caregiver calls off 15 minutes early because their car broke down? Which, you know, I could tell you personally happens all the time. We have an entire team. We have a client care team that is able to, you know, go fill in on that shift while our scheduling team is staffing somebody. And that client care team is also, they're the case managers. So they're out in the field, they're doing home visits, they're making sure that our caregivers are doing what they're supposed to be doing while they're in the house. And again, able to do these kind of emergency fill-ins so that our clients are never alone. So
that's huge.
Yeah, absolutely.
It sounds like you really have a checks and balances on the staff.
Yeah.
And what do you look for? What qualities do you look for when you are bringing in caregivers at Comfort Keepers?
So first and foremost, Ron, we want to make sure that their background is clear. We do a very extensive background check on our caregivers. But I think what's more is that we're really looking for what we call the heart of a Comfort Keeper. Not everybody's meant to be a caregiver.
No.
So,
I know that.
Yeah. So the great news is we kind of get to have this real personal week with them. We do a week-long training in our office where each of us are teaching a different class, and then some outside people also. But we get to really get hands-on with them and see if they really possess this skill level, and see, you know, what their level of care and you know, for our clients is all about. So that's a great part for us in getting to know our caregivers prior to actually having them work with our client. And sometimes we might find that somebody's not, you know, not really a great fit. So that week is very important for us.
Patty,
That's awesome.
I know you've had to deal with it with your parents.
So if I were looking for a caregiver for a loved one and I were interviewing companies, what questions would I need to be asking?
So I think, Patty, you know, for me, I think in doing this, what's most important is looking at the caregivers and how the company are bringing those caregivers on and their training. Also, I think it's important to know about the client care team. Is there a client care model set up where there's going to be an extra set of eyes in the home to be able to make sure that the caregivers are doing what they're supposed to be doing? Those monthly visits are really important, the reassessments and seeing where, you know, where our seniors are and if things have changed. And so you do want to make sure that the client care people aren't just making phone calls from an office to check, you know, on your loved one, that they're able to go out.
Physically check.
Physically go out and check, yeah, because, you know, a phone call just isn't as good as a visit, and really being able to get eyes and ears on the situation. So that's super important.
And given, you know, your 12 years with the company, the number one thing that grabs me is that you're really making improvements in people's quality of life. Talk a little bit about that.
Absolutely, Ron. So I think definitely over the 12 years, being the caregiver and then also, you know, working as client care and being able to oversee the case, I've just seen amazing changes. I mean, we've come into somebody's life where, you know, there really was no quality of life. There's no family involved. You know, here's somebody that's, you know, not eating good, not getting up. And, you know, once they come onto service with Comfort Keepers, it's like, it's night and day. So here's, you know, they're eating healthy meals at home that the caregivers are preparing. They're not just popping something in the microwave that's got really high sodium and, you know, causing all kinds of other problems. You know, our caregivers are making sure that their overall care is really, really well. and that they're showering, and that they're grooming, and that they're getting them out. So, doing the things they used to enjoy, whether it's going to the beach or, brunch on Sunday or church or whatever it is that they used to do. Our job is to be able to stimulate their life and bring that quality back. And so many times that's exactly what happens. And so it's been a pleasure doing what we do, just because we've been able to change so many lives.
Thank you so much for coming on today and sharing about Comfort Keepers and about your journey in 12 years with Comfort Keepers, and really the amazing quality of life enhancements you're bringing to the people here in San Diego and beyond in Riverside County as well. And we know it's a challenge. I mean, you're dealing with aging adults who feel they don't need help many times, but really do. And then the family members, the children of those aging adults who have their issues or their agendas as well. So you really are much more than home care. You're a home psychologist as well. And it's a really challenging work, and you guys are doing a fantastic job. So thank you for enhancing people's quality of life. So Patty, last thoughts?
Well, as we close, with all of your years of experience, you must have a great story that we could close with.
Patty, that's a good point, and I actually do. I think the best experience I had working for Comfort Keepers when I was actually a caregiver. So I had a very nice patient. She was fairly young, and she had a stage 4 cancer, brain cancer. And I kind of started out with her in the beginning of her journey, and being able to walk with her through that entire journey from kind of the beginning of the illness until the end, and how much that I was actually able to do for her and how much quality of life. I made her a promise that I would take her to the beach every day until the day it was, So I made sure that I did that with her. And, so many things kind of go through your mind in terms of what would her life have been like, without that care. And it's something that still touches my heart, because I was very close with her, and being able to be with her even up until her last days and really take the best care of her that I possibly could it's very, 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 very touching, and I'm very proud.
And rewarding.
Yeah, no, I love what I do, and I love being able to be in the position I'm in now, because I understand what it's like to be the caregiver and the quality that Comfort Keepers brings. I lived up to those expectations as a caregiver, so.
Well, good for you, and that's
awesome.
a very
Thank
great
you.
story
That's a great
for sharing that story. So thank you for being here today. Stick around next time for more Senior Stay or Go TV.
Our next guest is the most interesting man in San Diego. Please welcome the CEO of ID Cyber Center, Eran Sinai.
It is. Eran Sinai. What's up, man? How you
Good to
doing?
see you. Great.
The most interesting man in San Diego. Always got great stories.
Thank you.
And your radio show, very popular
Yes.
on ESPN Radio.
Love it.
Mondays and Wednesdays at noon.
Having a lot of fun with it too.
Yeah, always doing the trivia and all that stuff.
Love trivia.
Your big thing though now is it's actually it's a fantastic project because of the fact that it does so much good for so many people and frankly for the country. And that's that you've launched ID Cyber Center.
Correct.
Which is an organization that helps people protect their identities.
Yes.
Now, I think a lot of people have heard about the different breaches that have happened over the past 12 months, let's say Target, I mean, you name it, there's been a whole bunch of big data breaches.
Mm-hmm.
But for people who haven't been affected, who still kind of think this is something that just happens to other people, are we all equally at risk in this
They
thing?
will be affected.
They will be?
I say it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. I mean, your information is out there, no matter what. Social media, Facebook, Twitter, look at Mark Zuckerberg, right? Because of the LinkedIn breach, it was 112 million password breach stolen. Mm-hmm. Because of that, his information, his Facebook and Twitter and Instagram account were hacked. Because even him, he used the same password for all his social media platforms. So his information and his accounts were hacked. It's just a matter of time. And what we felt that there's no one there to address not only our identity and security, but even our social media life. So we wanted to come up with a platform that protect even your reputation and your social media.
So I didn't know Zuckerberg got hacked.
Oh yes.
So they got all of his stuff. They got into his accounts. I mean, that's got to be. Why would someone want to do that? You know, is there something to be gained by hacking into someone's social media?
Absolutely. Account? If you let me ask you a question. Do you have your birth date on your Facebook?
Probably.
Okay. So, and I'm not trying to prove you wrong, but that's what most people do.
Don't try to hack into my social media.
So, your birthday is used in a lot of your banking information. If people have your birthday, your name, your email, there's some information there, and those thieves are sophisticated. We had a client that actually somebody hacked into his Facebook. With that, we're able to figure out all his password and wiped his bank account.
Wow.
So that's what I'm saying. Our social life are out there, and that's the idea. I mean, Twitter, there are about 32 million passwords for sale. You can buy them on the dark web, and you'll probably pay maybe 20, 30 Bitcoins. That's how they pay for it, which is worth about $5,800 some dollars, and you can buy username and password for about 30 some million people.
Wait a minute, you can buy someone's
username
and password?
Absolutely.
Like my username and Twitter password might be for sale.
Might be for sale.
On the dark market.
That's right, and that's where we come to try to help people protect them from that.
How do you find out if your Twitter is for sale on the dark market?
Yes,
is there a way?
Good question. So we have one of our programs that you get is called social media monitoring and reputation monitoring. So basically what you do, and we're the only one in the country who have that. So you basically plug in your Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and LinkedIn into the system. And obviously if it's hacked, you'll get notified. But not only that, if anyone uses bad words or negative connotations associated with your name, we'll pick it up and you'll get notified. So it helps not only your reputation, but if Mark Zuckerberg would have our system, as soon as his information would have been hacked, he would get a notification. And he'll be able to...
So if someone's talking trash about me on social media, you'll be able to pick that up?
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. Yeah.
You know, if I had that kind of protection, it might stir up more stuff out there in the world.
I know. I was just sitting with your ladies before the show, and something came up on mine.
Oh, really?
And I showed her, and I said, look, basically what it focused on, it said, look, you've talked about someone, and you've disclosed their location and email, and just make sure that it was you who did that and no one else, because that could be sensitive. So sometimes it's just an alert that you might want to do nothing about, but it gives you every possible angle of protecting someone's information.
And is that in that protection is like the credit report covered?
Yes. So
that's a big one, right?
Absolutely. You get the difference between us and many people out there that our credit report, your credit report, you'll get it monthly. Most other company gives it to you they give it to you either quarterly or annually. With us, you'll get the 3 bureau report, 3 bureau scores, and 3 bureau monitoring monthly. You'll get things that actually with all what's happening today in the world with NSA and the unfortunate thing that happened in Orlando. So a lot of the terrorists actually borrow your identity to travel around without the NSA or without anyone finding where they are. So they'll borrow your identity and will travel around with your social because, you know, the truth is you can buy online a social security card for $45 and get a new social security. You can go get a fake ID in no time, and all of a sudden I'm walking around the country being Derek Evans. Right? So what we have is there's a part of our products that you get with every platform, every plan that you pick. It's called Digital Spy, in which you'll plug in your first name, last name, your social, your date of birth, your emails, 10 debit cards, credit cards, your passport number, your medical number, all your information, and your address. If anyone will either try to sell it on the dark web, you'll get notified immediately. If someone tries to change your address in any post office in the country, you'll get notified. And if anyone uses your social security number anywhere in the country, you'll get a message and it'll say, hey, Derek, someone in the state of whatever, in the city of somewhere, is using your social. So you should know that. So
Wow.
anywhere your social will appear, we'll pick it up for you.
That's incredible. You make a good point. I mean, I've always wondered, who are the people that are out there stealing these identities? Are they just, is this just the new generation of burglars? They used to have people who would burgle people, and that doesn't happen as much anymore. Now, is that what these guys are? They're the new burglars, like they're stealing your stuff. But what's the end game for them? Usually it's money that they're looking for, right?
Yeah.
But with the terrorists potentially stealing your identity so that they can gain safe passage, I never even thought about that angle of it.
And that's what's the scary part. Money, because with us you also get $1 million insurance with zero deductible, which will cover you for legal fees, money stolen from your account, child care reimbursement, elder care reimbursement, lost wages if you have to lose work to deal with that. But so money can be recovered. Yes, there's medical information. There's a lot of other things, but it's money. It's only money. Don't get me wrong, it is money. But the scary part, what if someone uses your identity to commit crime? And we've seen that. And what if somebody, even worse, use your identity to travel around the country, and then they're going to be associated with any terrorist activity? And that, for me, is the scary part.
That's really scary, because once you get associated with that stuff, boy, you better have a really good proof that you aren't actually involved.
Absolutely,
with it.
or have a good protection with bunch of attorneys everywhere in the country, ready and willing and able to protect you and get you out of whatever situation you got yourself into.
So you've seen where someone's identity has been stolen and then crimes were committed in their name?
Absolutely. We had a lady recently that someone just took her picture, nothing else but her image from Facebook, and rented an apartment supposedly that was hers, which wasn't even hers, and collected rent from about a dozen people and disappeared. And guess who went to jail? The poor woman whose face was on Facebook, was stolen, and she had no idea. Obviously, she got out of jail, but the trauma of going to the jail, having the police come to your house and pick you up for crime that you have not committed,
What
you
a
have
nightmare.
no idea what it is. Yes.
That's a nightmare.
Yes.
My goodness. So what would have happened in the case like something like that if she had been using the ID Cyber Center or in any similar situation? How would things have gone down differently?
All right. So the few levels. So the first thing, as soon as something was posted and taken and her Facebook picture was taken, she would have been notified. Somebody hacked into her account and stole a picture from there. Okay? And then now let's say if we were not being able to pick it up and something, because look, if they went to Craigslist, maybe we wouldn't have found out, right? However, as soon as something happened, she would make one phone call and a bunch of attorneys would be there in a second, and she wouldn't even have a chance to get to that jail cell. As soon as she's been taken out, one phone call, an attorney would be there, and she'll be probably on her way home, if she'd haven't even left the house.
Right. Well, you at least get a paper trail of notifications that say like, hey, look, someone stole my picture here. I have this monitoring going on.
Exactly.
I just feel like in this digital age, it's almost like this is one of those things that just has become a new must, and a must do for people because of how vulnerable we all are, because we're all on Facebook or Twitter or Snapchat or something. We're all on something, and we're sharing where we are. A lot of people don't realize these pictures have your locations tagged in them and all sorts of stuff, and we have our kids to worry about too. So I feel like this is just a super duper important situation for people to really take a hold of right now.
Right, and when we're talking about kids, that's even more important. So part of the programs you have, you get sex offender notifications. So if there's a sex offender that moves into your neighborhood, you'll immediately get a notification with a person's picture with what he was convicted for and where does he live. Because face it, San Diego is one of the biggest crime is human trafficking, goes so close to the border. And what if someone adds or protects or hacks into and we had a case, somebody hacks into a young girl's Instagram account because she was a gymnast and she was posting videos of teaching people just before she's going to college, and somebody hacked that account and turned it into a porn site, and people started showing in that house. looking for those services.
Wow.
So it's everywhere, and it's just scary. And you can probably, for what we charge is for $4.99, you can add up to 10 kids to be protected under your program.
Wow.
And you can protect the kids from social media, which, you know, all our kids are on social media today, and just really monitor and see how many cases of child identity theft we have. Tons and tons of them.
Yeah. Eran, thank you so much for your time, man.
Thanks
really
for having me.
appreciate it. Check out the ID Cyber Center and get hooked up today with your protection. Thank you so much for watching Smarter San Diego TV. We'll see you next week, same time, same channel.
Hannah Parashos, please interview. Everybody wants to know.
I'm a fan of HGTV and anything that has to do with real estate.
I just think it's a great idea. I think people are going to love what they have to see.
For them to trust you first, it's not just about selling their house, but it's trusting in what you can do as a realtor.
If you don't have the comfort level with the person, the communication is going to suck.
Can you tell us who wins this listing? Oh my gosh, I wish I can, but I don't think I can. No, my lips are sealed.
I went on a whim, and it ended up being a wonderful experience for my husband and I. We sold the condo for more than what we were expecting, so that's a huge win in our book. And then we ended up buying a new home.
Hey, great show, guys. That's a wrap. Jade, what's your schedule look like? Do you mind breaking down the set?
Not today, Derek. I'd love to, but there's waves out there. I gotta go. Angela? Nikki?
Yeah, I gotta go beat traffic. And I think Nikki's making something up there.
Look at this. We did this. We did all of this.